Forza Lorenzo Musetti, he has done it and he's made the final in Monte Carlo on his favourite clay court, and he's going to be playing the one and only Carlos Alcaraz, the other player who excels on the clay, and I think we're in for a massive final. That's right, we are in a new age in 2025. There's no Nadal making finals of these Masters events on the clay, specifically Monte Carlo. There's no Djokovic making the final anymore either. And we have a whole new generation. And 2025 has been the year when we've seen so many young players already make Masters finals and win Masters. Jack Draper has been fantastic the last few months. And this is now Lorenzo Musetti's time in the sun. We've been waiting for a big moment from him to happen. We've seen him in Grand Slams produce some good results. But you could argue maybe this is his biggest one yet, because it is his first Masters 1000 final. And he beat Alex de Minaur, who was in hot form all week long. He was looking very, very good. And it wasn't a straightforward victory for Musetti. He had to dig in and show resilience, something he's really struggled with in the past. And he's certainly battled with the physical side of the game when it gets tight and tense. And most times he does fold, but not today. And he beat de Minaur 1-6, 6-4, 7-6. So tiebreak in the third. And he's now the fourth Italian to reach a Masters 1000 final since 1990. The third Italian to reach the Monte Carlo final in the Open era. Of course, Yannick Sinner steals all of the headlines in Italy, but they've got another player who is very, very good. The difference being he's not the levels of Sinner, and he's, I would say, predominantly a clay court specialist. I've not seen enough from Lorenzo Musetti on the other surface to indicate that he's going to go on and win a big hard court or a grass court event. However, on the clay, with Roland Garros around the corner, he is someone who you need to be careful for, because he's dangerous. And the way he plays is very easy on the eye with a one-handed backhand. But I loved how resolute he's been, beating the most informed player at Monte Carlo in recent years in Tsitsipas, following it up with beating Alex de Minaur. And I'm going to bring this up for de Minaur to give him his moment. Let me see if I can find it. And it just highlights how well he's played leading up to this event. So the 6 sets before, a bagel against Mahat, 6-3 after that, then a 6-2 against Medvedev, another 6-2, and then Dimitrov, a double bagel. So they've been very one-sided sets against very top-level players. Let's be fair. Mahat, Medvedev, Dimitrov, all on the fringes of top 10. And de Minaur has been firing and beating players easily. He even did the same in the first set against Musetti, but Musetti came through. And we're in store for, I think, on paper, probably the best final we could have hoped for before the tournament. Shout out to Ben, who predicted Lorenzo Musetti to make the final. I can't say I would have said the same because I wasn't here to do a preview, and I don't actually know who I would have had making the final. But I've got to be realistic. I'm not that shocked. I'm not sitting here thinking, Lorenzo Musetti making a final. I can't believe he's done it. I think these finals are inevitable of a player of his quality on the clay courts. And I'm really excited to see what these next events, what his draw is going to be like, number one, and then how he's going to develop and play consistently through this clay court swing. So Alcaraz is returning to the world number 2 after he beat Davidovich Fokina. I'll get onto that one in a second. And Musetti is making his top 10 debut. And it's annoying because I think I had him in my top 10 the year before, but I'm always a year too soon. And now Musetti is making it in the top 10. Will he stay there? I think it's all going to be about how he deals with the back end of the year. And I think it's going to be a big ask to maintain this level. But it's certainly possible. And if he can go really far in Roland Garros, for me, he then cements himself as a top 10 player for the year. The next one I've got is obviously a photo of the two of them. And Tennis TV has said it's a final filled with flair. And I think this is a good opportunity just to speak about Lorenzo Musetti and Alcaraz as a matchup, because over the years doing this podcast, this was the matchup of the new generation coming through. Before your Men Six and Drapers and all the recent players we've seen, this was the one me and Ben watched on the Challenger Tour, in which we thought we are so excited by how these two are going to come onto the tour and how they deal with the big titles. Alcaraz, Musetti come out a little bit quicker than him, and then Alcaraz just stormed him completely, and Alcaraz has cemented himself as within the top three, let's say, in the world. Musetti not quite there yet, but I put this matchup as a very close one, and I don't think it's going to be a lopsided Alcaraz win like some people will be predicting. The bookies have him as a big favourite, but I honestly believe Musetti has chances, and this could be a third set classic. And I'm going to give my prediction towards the end. I just love the fact that we're having this matchup in 2025, because we've been talking about this matchup, which seems like maybe four years, maybe longer. So very interesting. And this is a good one for Carlos Alcaraz, because he's only the fifth player aged 21 or under in the Open era to reach the final at both Monte Carlo and Roland Garros. You've got to remember, before this event, Carlos Alcaraz has not even played many Monte Carlos. I think he played one or something and didn't do very well at it. Now he joins a list of Bjorn Borg, Mats Wilander, Carlos Moya, Rafael Nadal, and of course Carlos Alcaraz. So 5 of the very best clay court players in the world, and he's on that list. Under 21, reaching both final Monte Carlo and Roland Garros. So well done to him. We know that Alcaraz has not been performing very well recently, and a lot of it, he's come out to the media and spoken about it, is all of the pressure placed on him. With Sinner not on the tour at the moment, it has really impacted Alcaraz's level and consistency. And he said, the most important thing for me is not listening to expectations or what people say about me. That's what I'm trying to do, and I think it's going well so far. Today was the best match I've played in this tournament so far. There's plenty of other quotes talking about the prospect of getting and closing the gap between him and Sinner in the rankings, getting to world number one, and making up for this opportunity of Sinner not on the tour for 3 months. He's not really been able to make many indents. Here at Monte Carlo, he's making some and gaining some points, which is great. But he needs to, I think, just focus on himself and enjoying his own tennis and playing with that freedom, because an Alcaraz with freedom is very dangerous. When he thinks too much, I don't think he is as dangerous. And we've seen him lose matches you'd expect him to win. Of course, in this final, he will be the favourite. But I'm going to get to my prediction very soon. Let me know in the comment section as well. How do you see this one going? Are you equally as excited by it? And do you think it's going to be close or not? So this next one is Carlos Alcaraz, the man with the third most Masters 1000 finals reached before age of 22. He's there with Nadal, 15, of course. What a prodigy coming through. Djokovic, 9, which surprised me. And Alcaraz, 7. So there's still a few Masters, I believe, until he reaches 20, before he reaches 22. So let's see how close he can get to Djokovic. But certainly for his age, what he's been doing is astonishing. And sometimes you need to pinch yourself, because you feel like he's older than what he is, because he's been here for some time. And the last one I'm gonna go through before the prediction is 2025 Masters 1000 finalist by birth year. So I started the video speaking how this year we've seen a change in the players getting to these finals, and you can see it here. Only Djokovic is the only player born before the year 2000s to make a Masters final in 2025. 1987, Djokovic was born. Aside from that, Draper's the oldest, then Musetti, then Alcaraz and Runa, and then Mensik. So the future's bright. There's a lot of good players. There's a few more who I don't believe has made this list who can. Fees looking really good. Is he going to do something special in France at Roland Garros? I have a feeling we could see a great tournament from him, and many other players as well. But let's get into my prediction I'll find a nice image of the two of them. Let's go for this one, what I had earlier. Musetti versus Carlos Alcaraz. So they've played 5 times before in the past. Alcaraz won the first meeting in Italy, and this was, I believe, in a challenger in 3 sets. Then in Hamburg 2022, Musetti beat Alcaraz on the clay. And then apart from that, it's been one-sided. Alcaraz beating Musetti at Roland Garros, beating him in Beijing, and beating him in Miami. So all Alcaraz after that Hamburg one. On the clay, it is 2-1 if you include the challenger match. I think you should. I want to include it. But this is coming at a different time. And the way Musetti has been beating players who are favourite, and as him the underdog. He was the underdog against de Minaur, by the way. I've been super impressed with, especially how he's closed things out when usually he would falter. He was serving for the match against de Minaur. He did falter, then went to tie break, but still managed to come back. So on that basis, I am going to be predicting a Carlos Alcaraz win. However, it's going to be very tight. It's going to go all the way to 3. And I think it's going to go the way of Alcaraz winning it 7-5 in the third. So a tight one, not much separating them. Hopefully we see some fantastic shots. I am jealous of everyone who's going to be able to watch this one live because I know it's going to be a really good spectacle. And that is my prediction. Let me know yours in the comment section below. But there we go. That is my thoughts on the match and, of course, the semi-finals. Let me know yours and who are you backing. Is it Carlos Alcaraz? Is it Lorenzo Musetti? Is Carlos Alcaraz going to close that gap even more on Jannik Sinner? Or is Musetti going to fly the flag for Sinner? Why he's not there? Whatever way you look at it, the future's so good for Italian tennis. They've got stars on the men's, stars on the women's. And I guess the Italians are doing the business when it comes to tennis right now. But thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon.